Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CX Goalkeeper podcast. Today I am with Melissa. Hi Melissa, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Greg. I'm delighted to be here.
Super keen to kick off this discussion. We are going to discuss about retail reinvented, people, platform, and the truth about CX. Super keen to kick off this discussion, but as usual, the first question. Melissa, could you please introduce yourself?
Thanks so much, Greg. Yeah, so my name is Melissa Moore, the retail advisor and host of the Retail TBR podcast. I suppose my retail journey started, gosh, to be honest, when I was a small child, because my very first memory, Greg, was shopping in a particular store with my mum. It was pretty, it was bright, the people were friendly, like it was gorgeous. And then fast forward a few years, I started working for that very same retailer. So I think those initial kind of feelings I had, that awe and excitement, just really started to lead me into retail. And then again, you fast forward again, I had a degree, I had my master's, kept being pulled back into retail. But I've done all those jobs that so many people, even listening, even if retail's not their thing right now, I've done those jobs that everyone did. You know, I spent hours in the stockroom. I vividly remember even 9/11. I was in the stockroom with the radio on. I've been able to do stock takes. I've met thousands of customers. I've manned the fitting rooms. I've done all those small jobs, but they're the jobs where you meet the customer. And I think again, this is something that's really lasted with me. This was years before, I understood what CX was. It's years before omni-channel came around. It was just really true fundamental retail. And that's what got me excited. So that's really been the journey. I worked for loads of different retailers, worked my way up through the ladder. Lucky enough now over the last few years to have stepped away from kind of formal retail. And I'm now obviously helping and supporting retail teams as a trainer, as an educator, a little bit of consulting in there somewhere as well for some core independence. But at the end of the day, Greg, I love what I do. I'm really lucky to be able to work with so many customers and also so many incredible retailers.
I think we have something in common because I love what I'm doing, you love what you're doing, and therefore it totally makes sense. And I can understand the energy behind what you're saying, the real story that you share with us. Thank you very much for that. Which values drive your professional career?
I think very much, I suppose, maybe how I've led my life and even seeing that first initial kind of retail interactions, the ones I remember, it's the people. So it's very much people first. So again, whether that's that customer to staff member or colleague interaction, whether that's me interacting with students, retail students, or even people in the training room, very much people first. And I really want to almost embrace that and push it at the same time with so many within retail. It's such a strong value for me, but it works. And it really is the essence of absolutely everything I do and how I've built my career. The second thing then, and I think this has only become more apparent now over the last few years, is a curiosity. So again, we know the retail industry is incredibly agile. It's had to be, whether it's COVID, whether it's the mobile phone really coming into play thanks to Apple. We've had to keep reinventing ourselves and moving and shaking and keep getting ourselves in front of a customer. And I kind of think that's almost the way I've been, the way my career's been, the way I've looked at the industry. And I think we're so lucky now, even over the last few years, that I've been able to kind of hook up with different people around the globe who are incredible experts in their specific part of retail or in their specific part of the world. And that's really enlightened me and helped me. So definitely curiosity is number two there. And then the last one, it's integrity. It's trust, it's honesty. I mean, like you have to have an integrity about you to have a podcast, to allow people to come on. You want them to be open and honest as well. And I think you can only do that if you have that value yourself.
Then I plug in. Let's be really honest. You have an amazing podcast. Where can people find your podcast? Tell us a bit more about it.
Oh, so the Retail TBR podcast started, would you believe, on my 40th birthday on the 16th of September, 2021. And like you, it was a curiosity to have the conversations with real people, real retailers, real brands. I didn't want the shiny kind of brand deck. I didn't want the kind of tone of voice of the actual brand. I wanted to hear the stories behind it, for the good and the bad. And I think I've been so lucky now over the last 3.5 years. We've just hit the 100th episode. I've been really lucky that people have been open. They have been honest. And also, they've been honest about the journey that they've had awful times in the past, but it's the bounce back, it's the learnings from that. And also, on top of that, then it's bringing their people with them. And they're the most exciting conversations with me. It's those that nurture and empower the people around them. Because we know if you nurture and support those around you, the customer's going to see that. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel like they're part of the journey as well. And you know what? That makes you money. So everyone wins, I think, in that respect. But I love what I do. I'm really proud of the podcast. It's opened up so many doors for me. I'm emceeing live events on stage now. I was invited to NRF to be part of their press corps. So NRF, for anyone listening, the National Retail Federation, biggest show on the planet for retail, 40,000 people all under one roof in New York. It was mind blowing, Greg. But I was really proud to have this little badge that said press because there was very, very few podcasts allowed into that room. And it just proved to me how far I've come, but also how much more I want to do. So there's a real excitement there with the podcast going forward too.
And then I can only say that I really appreciate you being on my podcast. This is a big honor when you already have such big audiences with you. Now we know a bit more about you, about Melissa Moore. We know today's top player, and now let's kick off the game. Retail Reinvented, people, platform, and the truth about CX. Now we are living in different regions. However, I think we all, as a customer, have the same feelings. Are really retailers genuinely customer centric, or they are using CX something like a buzzword?
I'm going to get myself into trouble here, Greg. And I'm probably going to sit on the fence because, like any industry, I think there are some real leaders here who are customer centric, and then there are some that are talking the talk, and we all know that. So I think for me, what's really lovely at the moment is there are definitely retailers leading from the front. They are genuinely trying to be customer centric, and I think even if you're trying to get there, it means you believe it. So even this week, I was in a training room with one of our leading retailers, and actually their kind of brief was they wanted to talk about customer centricity, not with the C-suite, not with the board, but with the teams on the ground. So we built a training around pulling apart what did that mean? What did it actually look like? How did you layer your tasks, the everyday tasks that a retailer on the shop floor has to do? And we started to build it up. And actually, what we started to realize is with a few tweaks, we could become more customer centric. So I think that's really the path a lot of retailers are on. There's no point having it in your strategy, there's no point having it in your business plan. If the people delivering it, the people that really meet the customer day to day, whether that's your customer service team, and I do hate that phrase, but again, if you're manning a phone or you're meeting the customer on the shop floor or you're delivering to a customer, you're delivering furniture out, what does centricity mean? Because I think it's bounded about far too much. And I mean, you see that, and I'm sure it happens across every industry that some do it, some don't. Fascinating stat. And again, because I work in education, a bit like yourself, I have to pull the stats and kind of go where the data is. Salesforce's Connect to Shopper report said 74% of shoppers say they'll abandon a brand after 3 or fewer bad experiences. So again, you start to bring that data to the classroom, you start to bring that to C-suite and say, there's no point talking about customer centricity because you're not doing it. And if you are doing it, the customer's not seeing it. So it's one thing you being customer centric, or you say you are, but if they're not feeling it, if you're not doing it in the way that customer needs you to do it, it's not happening.
It's always about execution and not only discussing in rooms. I think I started with a difficult question for you because you are representing retails. You defended yourself extremely well, and then perhaps let's help you scoring some goals. And nowadays, and I want to be honest, also as a practitioner, but also as a customer for retailers, it's extremely difficult to meet shoppers, people willing to buy something. They are offline, they are online, they want everything now, 24/7, and. How can retailer meet really shoppers online, offline, in between? And perhaps also let's plug in the topic AI because that will also exchange how people are going to shop.
Oh, you're not making this easy for me today at all. This feels like a really bad Arsenal game starting to go wrong, Greg. I'm slightly worried, but do you know what? Shopping is everything. It is everywhere at every time of the day. As everyone listening knows, again, Apple and this iPhone back in 2008 really threw us that curveball because you have to be, as you say, we have to have gorgeous physical stores because, again, most people are still shopping in a physical store. We then have to have a mobile that has an app on, that has web on. So you have to be perfect on your website. You have to be perfect on your app. You also now have to be chasing things like TikTok Shop. It is the biggest and fastest growing means of selling to a customer. And then you layer on their new edition of live TikTok Shop. You have to be all things to all people. So again, to do that, I think you really have to have a strong brand and a strong mission, but we have to keep talking to the customers. So in that respect, I kind of think, yeah, we need to meet the customers absolutely everywhere. But I think it's about asking them, figuring out where are they shopping right now. If you're a young, funky brand, yeah, you should be on TikTok Shop. It's absolutely what it's all about at the moment. But actually, if you're a gorgeous brand that nurtures that one-to-one experience, then that's where you should be focusing on. It's your people in those stores. It's not the shiny new thing. Because again, and it sounds so simple when we talk about it or people talk about it on your podcast, but you have to be where your customer's showing up in their tone of voice, with their language. You have to deliver to them in that way. Yes, of course, because of the mobile, you have to be searchable. There has to be something there for them to look for. But I think at the end of the day, it should be seamless. And I'm mindful of kind of saying it has to be a seamless shopping experience because it literally has to meet the customer and their expectations. So if you're going to a low cost grocery retailer, for instance, and there's plenty of them in Europe, then you have an expectation that you're going to do a lot of it for yourself, but you're getting low cost shopping into your shopping cart. It's going to cost you a lot less. Yes, of course, you'll probably meet some sort of representative or colleague at the till point, even if it's a self scan, but that's all right. You're doing most of the work yourself. You're going to get a lower price. Happy days away you go home. But if I'm going in to buy, I don't know, an engagement ring or a wedding dress, then my seamless experience is that you are with me every single second that I'm there. You're making me comfortable. You might be giving me a glass of bubbles. You're checking in with me. And then even after that post-purchase experience, oh my God, you're checking in to see how the wedding day went. Like there's so many different touch points, but that's my expectation as a customer. So I suppose to go back to your point, offline, online, everywhere in between, you just need to be showing up where your customer needs you to show up at the time of day and in the right way that suits them. It's not about the retailer anymore, Greg. It has to be about where the customer wants you to show up. And then to tie in this fancy new shiny thing of AI, because again, that's exactly what it is to most retailers. I think we have to be so careful. So for retailers to have those guardrails in place, to have that rule book, to allow their people the freedom to maybe use it for copy, maybe use it to be sending, the little WhatsApp to the team or whatever, but to be so careful that the tone of voice is correct. And then when we start to amplify that out and we start to plug it into chatbots for customer service, or we have it as a part of the post-purchase experience, again, it has to work. There is no point in having AI built into your strategy or into your customer journey when it's not meeting the customer's needs. So again, kind of feel like I'm sitting on the fence with that answer, Greg, but I think it's so important that, again, it comes back, and I'm going to sound really boring now. We've got to be meeting the customer's needs. We need to utilize AI. We have to utilize mobile and all these different new platforms that we have out there. But is the customer happy? Are they still shopping from us? Are they still showing up? Because if they are, we're doing a good job. And if they're not, we have to pull it apart and go again.
I was not expecting a masterclass on retail, but no, you set the bar very, very high. Before I ask my next questions, for the people who doesn't know that, what is TikTok shopping?
So TikTok shop is literally, I mean, everyone has had a TikTok at this stage, and it's so hard to say, but TikTok shop is almost like another form of social commerce. So again, we have our Instagram little shop or a Facebook, but TikTok shop has brought it one step further. That in some respects, it's like a little bit of a marketplace because you have everything from grocery on there to skincare and makeup. But actually, then when you have the live aspect to it, I mean, people can literally go on, watch a video, so they're being entertained. It could be the brand owner, because again, really small retailers and brands are doing really well here. But again, if they're kind of showing you the product, if they're telling you that brand story, they're building that emotional connection. And then you're able to shop at the same time. It's like a perfect little curated retail store for you. So it's an interesting one. It is growing at a rate of knots. But again, it's only for some customers. So I have to say, I'm not a TikTok shopper. I'd still rather go to a physical store. But if that is where your customer is hanging out, you absolutely need to be there.
I fully agree. 2025 prediction, Gary Vaynerchuk was one of the biggest topic that he shared. It was social shopping. And he said all in on TikToks. And we are now seeing, I'm not a big user of TikTok, but we are seeing that it's now popping up. As you said, perhaps not you, myself, I am a different generation. I want to touch and feel what I'm going to buy. But basically, it's incredible. It's booming, and it looks like as it's the next big thing to follow and to work on it. But now let's really go to what we are discussing, or what you said, that at the end we want also to go in retails, and therefore employees play an important role. What's the role of the employees? And I really like and enjoyed what you said. Sorry for using this example. On one side, if you go to a grocery shop, you want you want a seamless experience, quick, buy what you need and go next. Last year, I had my 10th anniversary with my wife, and I was in a jewelry, and exactly what you said. It was the perfect experience. Sorry, I don't want to make it up, but as a man going into the jewelry and saying, okay, my wife said she would like to have something like this one, and the lady there helped me really a lot. And then it was, I didn't want to spend hours and hours and hours, and therefore she brought me three jewels, and she said, oh, you can choose this, that, and that one, and so on. And then she showed me that very well. And then at the end, I said, okay, I'll take this one. And then at the end, I received a bottle of champagne for free, a small one. And she said, oh, you said you want to buy it for the anniversary. I hope that you will enjoy that day. And if you have any question, come back. And you can think about in 5 years when I'm going again for the 15th anniversary.
I love
Sorry.
it. So, and to turn the tables, and of course, being a podcast host, I have to now ask this. How did that make you feel?
Uh, uh, you know, I am a normal person, and I never goes into this big shops or so important shops. But I was feeling important, even if I was not buying the $10,000 or 10,000 Swiss francs Rolex or something like that. I was buying something small, but I was feeling I am still important for them, even if I'm not doing a big difference for them if I buy this and that. And I think the person there really felt extremely quickly what I was looking for. He found out the guy don't want to see 200 different options. He will be overwhelmed by these options. And therefore, it was really quite quick connection, super quick and very well done, and in a very polite manner. That's what I really enjoyed.
And I love that, because what that's telling me is this is a well-trained member of staff. They had empathy and emotional connection with you, because obviously they built that rapport quickly. They asked the right questions to understand what you need. And even hearing what you needed, they realized that actually you didn't want to be overwhelmed, that you weren't used to kind of shopping like this, that it was a really special occasion. So again, they're building this emotional connection with you. They understood the product range, because they were able to bring you 3 simple choices, nothing too elaborate, nothing crazy outside your price range. But also they listened enough, and they knew it was really special for you, that they brought you that little bottle of champagne. So to me, that's the perfect colleague experience. They've had the training. They understand the brand. They know and understand the customer. They really listen to you. And you know what? I'm super proud of that. And I'm delighted that at the end of the day, you came away and you've got such a smile on your face. And I'm sure your wife did as well, that everyone wins out of a situation like this.
You're so right, but I am on the side of asking questions, and
Yeah,
therefore,
we'll get back to it. Let's go.
no, joke aside, I think we are really speaking about employees, and that's where I wanted to double click. In this personal experience, it can be in a grocery, or it can be in a shop, as I shared. But what's the role of employees? And let's link that also. You already mentioned that training.
Oh, it's so important. And again, it's what I do an awful lot of the time. If I'm not in the classroom from an academic perspective, I'm out there delivering training to retailers that really want to nurture their people. And I think this is the important thing. So many retailers have gone after the tech stack, the big tech. They're chasing how to integrate AI. They're understanding, the fastest way to get product to store, the fastest way to get product to their people who've bought it. But if you haven't nurtured your people yourself, what's the point? Like, what is the point? So for me, the employee experience is just as important as that customer experience. Harvard Business Review said companies that invest in employee experience are 4 times more profitable and have 2 times the average revenue that those that don't. Like, so investing in your people makes you money. But also for me, the people on the ground, whether it's literally like that person you met in store, the people on the ground are your biggest marketing tool. Like, so again, if you're investing with them, if they're happy, if they know and understand their role, if they know and understand the brand, if they know and understand the product range, they are so much more than your website or your TikTok shop is ever going to be. So I think nurturing them, caring for them, empowering them is just what the best retailers in the world are doing right now. And I'm really seeing as we roll into this more kind of tech defined age, there's definitely a gap appearing, Greg, between those that really care for their people and those that couldn't give a damn, excuse my language. But there's definitely a gap building up here now. And that worries me because if you're not investing in your people, no wonder they're leaving. And retail is one of those industries right now where retention is really hard, where getting people to come and work those late nights, those Saturdays are becoming harder and harder. And of course, retail doesn't pay well. Like it doesn't pay well. It's not like IT. It's not like finance. Like we don't pay our people properly, but that's a whole other podcast for another day. So I think nurturing them, investing in them, building that human connection, really caring about your people will allow them care for your customer, which at the end of the day is the ROI that everybody wants.
I think you're touching one extremely important topic. And yes, I agree. It's a completely different podcast, or episode, but I was working also in healthcare, and there's a completely different salary setup and motivational setup. But I think, as also I have you on this podcast, it's all about passion. Are you passionate about what are you doing? How is your attitude towards the customer, towards your product, and are you really trying to understand them, meet their expectations, or not? And now you're a big expert, and you run a lot of trainings. What's the one change that would transform the retail experience for customer if you would pick only one?
I think it's consistency. And I actually think it's so hard for a retailer because we've already talked about this industry is ever changing. It's got to be agile. Your people are coming and going. They're meeting different people every day, different customers. But I think if you can have that consistency between your in-store, your online, your app, your chatbot, your tone of voice, and you build in that emotional connection, which again is key to this, then I think that trust is there. And again, that therefore brings loyalty. And we all know we have a loyal customer, we have them for life, and it pays the reward forward. So I definitely think consistency there is the key for me.
That's so cool. I would plan to have you back on the podcast because I have 200 questions I would like to ask. But taking care of your time and the audience time, we are coming to an end. And in the last 3 minutes of this game, in the extra time, I still have 3 questions for you. Fast forward in 10 years from now, we are back on the CX Goalkeeper podcast, but you will be there for several times. I hope so. What are we going to discuss about?
I think obviously look, AI is not going anywhere with, Salesforce are talking about robotic AI. We've obviously got generative AI, the kind of stage we're in now for retail. So that's all going to just happen. And I think that's a given. But I think for me, it's becoming more important that yes, all this tech, as we say, all this AI is there, that actually it's those basic fundamentals. So the soft skills, as we call them, the human skills, the emotion, the connection, the leadership, the empathy, the trustworthiness. I actually think now as we go forward, these skills are going to become so much more important, whether it is face to face in store, like your interaction for your anniversary, or whether that's ensuring that we can feed this through the website, the TikTok shop, whatever that might be, I think that both our leadership teams and our CX teams, most importantly, have to ensure that we keep bringing it back to the idea that that customer needs the connection. They want to feel seen, heard, and understood. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing that we'll be talking about still, or even more importantly, in another 10 years' time.
It's so cool. What's the best way to contact you?
So probably LinkedIn, Melissa Moore on LinkedIn, you'll find me. You'll find a podcast page on LinkedIn as well, The Retail Advisor. Obviously, it's available across all major podcast platforms. And of course, if you want to watch the video of me smiling and looking happy, you'll find the Retail Tea Break on YouTube as well.
Thank you. And for the audience, you will find all these links also in the show notes. Now we are coming to the last question. Is Melissa's golden nugget? It's something that we discussed or something you would like to leave to the audience?
I think it's that kind of response that, yeah, we're tech forward now in retail. As we keep saying, we've got this mobile, which is so important to us. Everything in our life is run around this mobile. We have our websites, we have these beautiful physical stores. But I still think happy staff equal happy customers, and it happens to make you money. So I think going forward, empathy, it's still your biggest competitive edge. It's still probably your USP is your people. And if we can drive our people for retail and for customer experience, our customers are going to keep coming back.
The only thing that I can say is, Melissa, thank you very much for your time. It was really great to chat with you. You open up a big topic, a really relevant topic. As a customer, as an expert, as a professional, I really appreciate this discussion. Please stay with me. To the audience, for today, it's everything. I hope that you enjoyed this discussion as much as I did. Thank you very much, Melissa.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks so much.
Bye bye.